I'm really, really cooling in this, and I'm not feeling any heat whatsoever. In fact, I'm more akin to the snow that's lying outside of my front door at this moment in time. Hi everyone, my name's Ben Dinnery of Premier Injuries. Hopefully you would have heard of me. I tend to spend most of my time on social media talking about injuries and FPL. I'm on Jason Green Arrows, and this is my source meter. Well, I'm a Newcastle supporter, so I'm hoping he's not going to perform very well, but he's a young lad, a great talent, a lot of potential. As you alluded to, under Daniel Farke, didn't get much of a look in, but under Dean Smith, he appears to be getting, he certainly got more minutes, and Norwich have looked much improved, a lot more compact, a lot more solid. He's going to build that, foundation on, that defence. I think they restricted Wolves to something like 0.25 XG conceded at the weekend there. So it's going to be tough for Newcastle. But with regards to a fantasy asset, I see him more of as an enabler, maybe a player on the bench who, like I say, can pick up the odd point. He's going to be a lemon and Herbie. For me, fairly mild. It's somebody like to keep an eye on, but I'm not expecting massive amounts of returns from Billy Gilmour. There's a couple of things here. I really, really like RAPHINHA. I really like Palace as well. Of course, they're going to be smartened from that defeat at the weekend. So Patrick Vieira will want his team to bounce back. Leeds have been inconsistent, to say the least. The absence of Patrick Bamford has been huge for them. They've lost that pivotal lone man up front, and nobody's been able to fill those boots. RAPHINHA on occasions has stepped up to the plate. I'm just thinking RAPHINHA, once Leeds begin to tick, then, if he's producing in a bad team, then we may start to see some of the returns like we did last season. But on this occasion, do you know what? I'm going with a mildly warm little chilly space. It's not going to blow me head off. I think it's going to be a tough game. So, there's a possibility there of a return, but I'm not expecting anything major from RAPHINHA. Yeah, I mean, you can write off the game against Liverpool because they can do that to most teams. That was almost a free shot there for Ralph Hasenhüttl. The importance is, getting back, and trying to get results in this game. It'll be tough. Leicester have been inconsistent again. They've had their own problems at the back. They had their own injury issues. Maddison, he's a player that I've really championed his course. I like him. He hasn't really come to the party this season, although, like you mentioned, in recent game weeks, he has improved. Maybe that's in the absence of Youri Tielemans. We're looking for that creative spark. It's time for James Maddison, to step up to the plate. Southampton have been defending quite well, so I think this could be a tight-ish game. And a lot of it will come down to how maybe Brendan Rodgers wants to set up his team. I do prefer them when he plays two up top and somebody supporting Vardy, and that just gives Maddison a couple more options. So for me, again, I'm just going for a mildly warm, chilly space. Nothing that's going to blow me head off. Just something that I can feel in the back of my throat. I mean, that's a big question. What we do know about Thomas Tuchel, he likes his players to be in tip-top condition. There's no shortcuts with Tom Tuchel, and that's why he took his time with Romelu Lukaku. Whether he starts or not, it's difficult. I think Kai Havertz and Timo Werner are both ahead of him in terms of just that little bit of match fitness. And you've also got to be thinking, you protect Lukaku, not just in the short term, but ahead of this busy fixture period. That said, I think even if Lukaku doesn't start, there's a chance that he'll get, those extra minutes from the bench than he did on Sunday. And it would not surprise me against this Watford defence if Lukaku got himself on the score sheet. So I'm slightly bit warmer. I'm talking Madras here. I'm not going foul, but it's nice. It's a nice warm tingling in the back of my throat, and I fancy a return of some sort from Lukaku. Brighton. I'm not too sold on them, if the truth be known. I think they're all right. I think maybe that position is a little bit of a false position, and I fully expect them to maybe end the season in and around maybe that 12th to 14th place where they have been for the past few years. Maybe a slight improvement, but Cucurella has been one of those shining players for the Seagulls. Played really well, offers that attacking threat, so we know defensively they've been fairly sound. Graham Potter has switched things up a little bit. I do like Cucurella, but also I mean on the opposite flank, Tariq Lamptey. He's come back from his long-term injury. He's looked very sharp. I know his minutes are being managed, but he looks like he's come back and he's not looking too rusty. So I do like him. But Cucurella, yeah, decent. I'm seeing it's in between. Mild. Antonio can do anybody on a day, and that wipes out that clean sheet. But the Hammers are prone to a goal. I'm saying a mildly warm, just a little tingling, chilly. I'm thinking, what am I thinking here? Nah, nothing that's going to be blowing my head off here. It's almost like a flaming hot Dorito. Wolves are coming into a difficult period. I think this is the last one. Then you've got something like Liverpool, City and Chelsea, maybe 3 of the next 4. So it's going to be difficult. Bruno Lage will be targeting this game, to get hopefully 3 points, particularly as I feel maybe he's a little bit disappointed not to get more from the Norwich, that 0-0. In attack, it doesn't seem to be happening. The fact that they've got to build those results on that solid defensive unit with Kilman and Sias in there, and Cody, I like them. I think they're never going to give too much away. And you're right, he has sort of went under the radar. He's not something that instantly sort of springs to mind when I'm thinking about maybe looking at some of those assets in goal. But I think in this instance, Maxwell Cornet and Chris Wood are doing a good job for Burnley, and I think they may surprise a couple of teams this year. Sean Dyche has changed. Maybe he'll still go with his rigid 4-4-2, but in terms of his attacking philosophies, I think Cornet just offers something a little bit different. That he has that change of speed to break through those lines. Look, I'm a right fence sit at the minute. I'm going to end up with splinters in my backside here. I'm saying, you know what? I'm going with another flaming hot Dorito. Nice, warm feeling, but again, nothing that I'm massively keen on, blowing those earwax out. Kyle Walker maybe just doesn't get the credit that sometimes he maybe deserves. Juan Cancelo is the headline grabber. But on the opposite flank, Kyle Walker works steadily away and gets that job done. I mean, it depends on, who City play and his role and how, he'll be allowed to maybe attack down that flank and who he's got in supporting him. But I do quite like Kyle Walker. But it's quite a tough game. I think it's going to be tight. I certainly don't think it's going to be a walkover at this stage of the season. Over this period of games, it's about getting results, not necessarily the performances. And I think they'll do enough just to get through. I think there's a strong, maybe clean sheet potential there. I can see City edging this one, maybe 1, possibly 2-0. And for that reason, Kyle Walker is he's a bag of chips with a nice spicy curry sauce on top. You look at the Merseyside derby and often they say that, the form book gets ripped up in the cut and thrust and in the heat of the battle, but try to remove, what's going on with those teams and just focus solely on Liverpool and Everton. Everton winless in 7, bottom of the form table. Defensively, there's question marks all over the pitch. Richarlison does come back for them, but in terms of any other personnel that we maybe can expect to push, then not really. Abdul Decore, obviously he returned to the team on Sunday after, I think it was a 6 or 7 week absence, but it's going to take a little bit of a while for him to get fully up to speed and match fit. Now, Liverpool can capitalise on that. You look at Liverpool, is at 17 games where they've scored 2 or more goals in a row now. You don't have to say much about Salah. And Mane, fantastic. He was a little bit unlucky, I think, at the weekend. He was offside, but he could have added to his goal tally. And this is one where I'm thinking, I'm fairly warm and fairly hot on. I fancy Liverpool to do a bit of a job. So, we're moving up the scale meter here. We're not talking foul hot, but we're talking a good solid Vindaloo. Yeah, I mean, a lot of talk's been about Reguilon on the opposite flank. I see Emerson Royal is probably more locked in terms of who's actually going to challenge him to play on that right-hand side. Yeah, I know he can throw Tanganga in there, but I think Emerson Royal is a player who's maybe just going under the radar. However, we're expecting this big manager bounce from Antonio Conte by his own admission. After 3.5, nearly 4 weeks in the job now, he's understanding of really, what's required and what's needed, and maybe the job is not as possibly straightforward as he first thought. So we're looking at these Tottenham assets. We're expecting them to bang. We're looking at the fixtures and thinking, this game, this is going to be the one. I just don't see it. I'm really keeping me powder dry when it comes to Tottenham at the moment. I'll watch from afar. Any picks to do with them are purely just based on the upcoming fixtures, as opposed to any form that they're producing. Defensively, do I trust them to keep a clean sheet? No, I think Brentford have been a little bit unlucky of late. Their underlying numbers are certainly indicate that. They've been a little bit unfortunate. They could have easily left St James's Park with 3 points on another day. A great attacking display. I think they hit the woodwork maybe 3 times and had a goal disallowed as well. Tony grabbed another goal at the weekend against Everton. So this is a tough one, and probably of Emerson Royal, like I say, just based purely on Tottenham. I'm really, really cooling in this, and I'm not feeling any heat whatsoever. In fact, I'm more akin to the snow that's lying outside of my front door at this moment in time. Yeah, I do like Sancho. We all were waiting for this player that we've seen light up the Bundesliga. We're waiting for him to bang in the Premier League. And maybe, we didn't quite understand why he wasn't getting more game time under Ollie. That looks to have changed under Michael Carrick. Of course, we don't know who's actually going to be in charge of United come Thursday's game. But what we do know, players will be out there to impress, the new boss. He will be watching, so they're all wanting to stake a claim for a place in that starting 11 and playing for a future. And like I say, when you come with a big price tag, there's a lot of pressure associated with that. But, performances of late have been stepped up by Jadon. So I do like this pick. I'm not, maybe because we got burnt off Arsenal at the weekend and we were pretty poor, that we didn't really put them under massive amounts of pressure. But I'm not big fans of Gabriel and Ben White in the heart of that defence, although I do own Ben White. He's a great way in at a low price. I can see maybe United causing that Arsenal backline a few problems, and inherently, Sancho isn't going to be far away. So where am I talking? I'm talking in between me flaming hot Dorito and a Vindaloo. So maybe a Jalfrezi on this rating. Yeah, so that was my Source Meter rating. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and if you have any comments, please pop them in the box below.